So hello guys and welcome back, and we got Mr. PandaUser now into our casting studio with us, and we are going to be bringing you guys a round number 2 matchup. It's KrispyBalut versus Zero-chan. So yeah, Mr. Panda,
You can start.
I just want to say that this is the first time doing this in the card game. It's really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well, technically, second time for me
No, I mean, this
because
is the first
last
time
night.
we did this. We did this
Oh,
together.
together. Okay.
Yes,
Sorry.
we're
To clarify that, just to
doing this
clarify.
We're
together, and
starting, guys.
yeah, we
Yeah,
see
yeah.
it. And we are going to be getting into our second match of the day. It's KrispyBalut versus Shiro-chan, and will be the Shadow Eyes Freya here for KrispyBalut versus the Shadow Eyes, and Nox is on the other side for Shiro-chan. So it seems like this is a Callista deck. And how do decks like this really work out, Mr. Panda?
Most of the time when there's Kalista decks, you see allies die so they can level up. For Elise, I think this is a Deo who endured deck. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I just got that card right now. So most of the time, when allies die, cards are upgraded, and when cards are upgraded, that's when they deal the most damage.
Yeah,
But it's also their job to fill the board.
that's
But
true, that's
it
true.
looks like Chiro's up against an aggro deck. I think this is Burn Spiders or something.
Might be, but
Yeah, aggro
it's gonna be
spiders,
It's
definitely.
aggro spiders.
yes, Endure Spiders right here, right now. It seems like this dodge is going to be here as well. And, well, we will have the Elise dropped on the board. Now, usually you do want to have that Elise early on to have a little bit of board pressure, as also protect you, get a little spiders here and there. And, well, if you do get that level up, it's not really the win condition there, but it does provide you a lot of utility. Now, Crispy Blood trying to figure out what to do. Cat Fearsome will get procced, and there's a Frey Spider onto the board. Should be blocked up by the opposing spider, of course. And yeah, the Elise will get a little bit of damage. Not really much being done. It seems like the setup for the next few turns is going to be the bigger deal here for Crispy Balut.
Yeah. The reason why that 2-3 couldn't block with the spider is because fear mechanic. For those of you who don't know, the fear mechanic works is if your opponent has two or less attack, they can't defend against a fear opponent.
Yeah, and the
Thus,
Callista.
yeah, thus the Kalista has it as well. Certain cards have these mechanics, and as you play this game of Legends of Runeterra, you'll learn it in the on the way.
Yep, and it seems like Crispy Balut will have a lot of different tools to right now mitigate this upcoming attack. We do see the Saboteur popping its ability, and, well, for Shiro-chan, he's just trying to get a little more damage on the way. Seems like he's on a ticking clock right now. It's very interesting to see basically him trying to do that direct damage and maybe forcing his opponents to actually block with those champs. So the Elite's going to be put on down. And what do you think is going to be the win con here for Shiro? Is it really just going to be looking for the burn onto the Nexus over there, or will it be something else?
Yeah, I mean, when you're playing these types of deck, a burn aggro, it's either you play cards that are really low, really fast, and that's your win condition to burn down your opponent. But at the same time, it's also saying that I could also really lose really fast. But I see things right now. He's just trying to get board presence, as I see it,
Oh, I
and
love.
good reactions by Crispy Balut right now because he's saving that wailing spirit card. Yeah, I want to
The
get that right.
Withering Wail. Yeah, the Withering
Wither
Wail is
whale.
gonna be it's gonna
Wailing
be very
spirit.
effective. Dude, it's gonna be
Yeah,
so effective at clearing out those spiders, but right now it's gonna be the straight drop getting dropped on. You
yeah.
get a little bit more of that fearsome going on. And with the Callista, of course, you do want to have at least one strong unit in your grave to be able to get the
Mm.
proper value there. Two plus a Crystal Cats actually. And it seems like Chris Willot was happy to trade down that at least good bait though from Shiro to force things out. But the fearsome, as we have said before, it is just unblockable right now by Shiro-chan with all those units
Um,
on that side, not really having too much value. Interesting, he doesn't drop the Callista, wants to play it safe, of course, in case that there is something on the board, but it's a Blaze Edge! Surprise, surprise, Shiro-chan now looking for the kill, taking care of that champ, preventing a potential
yeah.
level up into the future.
But to be honest, I could have just attacked with the Callista because it doesn't have really
Yeah,
three attack
the,
on the board,
the
and
fearsome.
you're gonna lose it anyway.
Yeah, the
And to
Blaze
be honest,
Edge.
I was like seeing things spells from Shiro-chan. Yeah, he's definitely gonna lose Callista because
And
with his board they endure. To be honest, I wouldn't have used Callista to defend. Just let her be on the board. But that's how things played out right now.
And I think for KrispyBalut, he does want to increase the value of those who endures. Now he doesn't
Yeah,
want to use it way too early, even though he's on that 6 mana, because they're gonna get barely any value. And right now he seems like he's gonna be saving that Whistling Whale. He can go for the chump block instead to really add up to those 1/1s. But at the same time, with Shiro Chan basically playing a burn deck, a burn aggro deck with the spiders to boots, I just have to say that there is no real way for him to stop the those who endure card as soon as
yeah.
it is ready to go.
I mean, yeah. Things are, to be honest, Shiro-chan has no more cards
Cards in
left.
hand.
Yeah, but he has a board, but it's gonna be cleared one way or another. I wouldn't block with the Elise if you're gonna save your Elise, to be honest. Yeah,
Honestly,
there you could block with that. The hapless aristocrat. I memorized that card because it's like, oh, this is a nice card, and like,
Lady Elise,
oh,
Lady
Lady Elise.
Elise, where are you? But he can get a really good proc if he does drop down the. Oh, he's gonna go for the Withering Whale. And that's
Yeah,
very
yeah,
interesting because he is gonna go for the clear right now when he does have the opportunity to get a little more value and get some spiders instead for the later turn. But it's all about the blockade. He doesn't want to be taking too much damage, and well, he's playing a little more safe than sorry. And in the end, it's gonna be Shiro-chan now dropping his last card. It's the Brute Awakening. Lucky though for KrispyBalut, he has another one in hand, and this is looking really good here
that's true.
for our prospective player.
Yeah. For those
Oh,
of you who don't know, I mean, are wondering, Legends of Runeterra right now doesn't have a spectator function, so we're viewing these players by, via Discord. So at least to give you guys a hint of why this is, why this is happening right now. But as so back to the game, as I see things right now, KrispyBalut could clear the board or could.
you
Oh,
know,
you're
you
gonna
know,
play the
You
user
know,
endure.
he can go for
Um,
those endure. It's
good.
potentially something. It will just be basically unstoppable, honestly. In a deck like that, I don't think there's
Yeah,
really any
actually,
answers
yeah.
for Shiro Chan. If he
Okay.
drops down that those endure, it will have some really good value as well. And with the fearsome on the board, there's nothing to really block the Elise from getting another proc. He can also go for the Glimpse Beyond to get the level 2 Elise. And honestly, every little bit right now for KrispyBalut is in
Yeah,
his favor.
That's true. That's true. Those endure.
Arachnodos?
Oh,
Oh.
Arachnoid.
Okay, this will
Okay, the
propel.
host is fine,
The host is
but
fine. That's a plus one. That's a +2 on those spiders. And honestly, it seems like he's gonna go for it. He's still gonna try to go for the attack with only the dosage. You're not really dropping that at aristocrats, and it will be met by
oh,
the.
really? You're just gonna
Yeah,
block with that? I
it's just.
mean,
It's not the worst
that's the
thing.
most HP. It's not the worst,
It's
actually.
not the worst thing, but he is gonna go for the Glimpse Beyond now. Still doesn't have that second, third spider to get the proc, but it doesn't really matter by this point. He's not gonna
Yeah.
be able to have really value with it to begin with. And oh, the
Oh, look at
Rasa,
that.
but the Rasa, he's gonna want to clear out the board just a little bit more so he can really drop that down for maximum value.
Ah, yeah. So I know what this deck is. It's like the best those who endure, the non-budget one.
Yeah.
I just realized it. So I'm looking at the lists here. So I've
And
realized.
Endure Spiders with the Rasa 2 boots, and it just has a
Mhm.
lot of control, honestly. Now he can just drop that Withering Whale and put the rate, I believe, in front
Yeah,
of
the
that
rate is
host.
in
It's
front.
gonna be
That's
pretty
true.
good for the chump block, and if he does want to make sure he put down the Dose Endure and drop another one. But honestly, this is a KrispyBalut having such a good hand right now dealing with Shiro-chan. And for Shiro-chan, he wasn't able to play the aggression that he has been looking for
It's
earlier on.
crying.
This is a
That,
crying.
that
Another
Oro
wipe
is the
onto the
best, dude.
spiders. KrispyBalut in prime position to take this victory. And honestly, what can Shiro-chan do? Drops
Oh,
the Crimson Disciple. It's not gonna be really
he
doing
could have.
much here, isn't it, Panda?
Yeah. Well, he could have summoned his 3-drop right there, but chose not to. Oh, he could go
It's
for the
no,
Raza, just
you don't
killing.
want to drop that one because it kills one of your units, and then
Oh, okay.
you get saplings that don't die. If you do want to increase your those endure value, sure, but it has to be the
Okay.
drop on the hand. And with Rasa being an 8 cost, it's kinda if you do want to see things through, you do want to wait things out just a little bit, drop that Rasa. But now it's time to go for the
Yeah.
attack instead. And KrispyBalut looking to potentially get that level 2 onto the Elise. He has the Absorb Soul as well, but it was the Blighted Caretaker actually getting dropped to get the saplings. And I like this because he will be able to control the battlefield with those 2 saplings into play. And
Yeah.
now it might be time to go for the attack with pretty much everything in hand.
Yes. So zaplings, excuse me. Those saplings will be there to help. For those of you who don't know that mechanic, some cards will have the challenger mechanic, meaning they'll be targeting certain units, any units, even with the highest attack, lowest attack, and etc. But I think this game is over. Oh
This
no,
still has
it's
an
not.
HB, but by this point, with one card in hand, it really is just KrispyBalut weathering the storm. When I say weathering the storm, it feels like it was just a light drizzle instead of
Yeah,
a typhoon that we were expecting. Here go with the House Spider getting dropped, brings in a Spiderling just for good measure. It's just there. We also see an
that
Averroes and
was
Sentry just increasing that draw
yeah.
value, and honestly, this is just KrispyBalut in complete control. He can do whatever the hell he wants right now, and I don't think Shiro-chan will have any tools to stop whatever this Endure Spider deck
Um,
has in store.
well,
Oh,
at least okay. The second release.
yeah, he
Ah,
can
yeah,
go.
it's gonna get shuffled. Oh yeah, for those of
Oh,
you
he's gonna
who
go
don't know that
spiders.
mechanic, yeah, he's gonna summon two more spiders, but you at the same time you shuffle an Elise back into your deck,
Yeah,
which
here
is a
goes a
cool mechanic from this game. Like even if they're you can duplicate cards, but the cards that are duplicates in your hands will actually just become,
okay.
a
So,
copy. And there
So
you
you know what's
go.
gonna be sad here, Mr. Panda? Well, the Spider Queen Elise is out, and this just basically makes every all of those spiders appear some as well, and there is nothing that can
Yeah,
block right now, except perhaps the Blighted Caretaker. But honestly, Christopher not doing this, he doesn't need to because none of those are gonna be blockable
yeah, no, it's
whatsoever.
not nothing.
It's just
Yeah,
like okay, there you go, surrender
surrender.
happens, and Crispy Baluts with our first victory into this one. Well played by the Endure Spider deck, and honestly, when you are playing an aggro deck like that and get no value at the very start, there is no real way for you to answer such
Yeah,
a dominant force like the Those Who Endure card.
I mean, basically, Crispy Balut's deck was control-ish at the start. They who endure, but when it came against the burn aggro didn't have much. But it's not really a burn type of aggro, but it's a spider aggro. The second type of deck that was a bit used after the
Exactly.
burn aggro. Yeah, yeah.
And
It's evolving.
and
I
it's
mean,
funny.
I laugh at these because these decks are like they're free. Like people are just grinding for these, and But I'm excited for this card game to like pop off, especially when they have the spectator.
Spectator one day. What one day, but not today. But for the time being, well, we're just happy Chris Bullet is here for us to basically bring in a different flavor, and he's been doing good so far on that first game. We'll see if he's gonna do better on to the second. Now he can't use the same deck that he did. In the meantime,
Yep.
well, for his opponent, he can do so because this is the Conquest BO3 format, and this is the second round of action actually here in our Legends of Runeterra Philippines Newbie Tournament. So it's funny. So yesterday, Mr. Excelsior PH hosting a tournament for Runeterra today. It's this one, and it's
and
really
I'm
really.
and I'm here again.
And here we go again. Of course, PandaUser, Mr. Hearthstone himself. We go again. We bring you on over and at least look to enjoy our time. So we'll be looking to see if we can bring dodges later on into our next match as it's time to
Ooh,
get
it's
into
a it's
another one
real.
as Twisted Fates versus Vi as well as the Fiora. So interesting builds here.
So
Interesting matchup now coming into this one.
yeah, Shiro could be going for a semi-control. It's not gonna be aggro with Vi and Fiora. So that's gonna be like a mid to end game strats. And for Crispy Balot, I think he's going for the pillage mechanic, or steal your cards. It's a spell type.
You know
What
what
do you
I think
call
he's
this
doing?
archetype?
I don't think he's doing. I think he's gonna be boosting that edge to be such a
Yeah,
strong finisher. So he does want to play that. I believe he has a Twisted Fate, right? So it's the edge Twisted
yeah,
Fate.
it's a
The
twisted fate.
TF gives you a lot of control in terms of that spell. You can be very casual with it. You also just get basically do draws as much as
Yeah,
possible. And on the other hand, with the Ezreal, you get those spells casted, and when he is ready to go, you just go for the boom boom pow. Especially with Powder Kegs being so effective. He has the deck hand. He has the Petty Officer that can really get the spawns on, and it will just make all his spells even more potent with a big boom.
yeah. So as things are right now, both players are just. I think they're just gathering mana at this point. but Shiro doesn't have any starts. I mean, with a Vi, excuse me. Oh yeah, the Badger. There it is. I was waiting for the Badger to be thrown up because when you have a Vi deck, and it's impossible not to see these Badgers. The
Yeah.
most annoying card.
Wait, is that an inspired mentor being built up by the petty officer out of nowhere? It's interesting. That's something. But yeah, the Badger Bear, pretty much the staple right now of the Demacia deck, is such a strong 4/4 drop for 3 mana. It's actually ridiculous how potent it can be. Anyway, though, on the other side, we got the Ranger as well. He can go for the Scout proc and get another Badger Bear on the board. But KrispyBalut can answer this immediately with the Static Shiv, was the Static Shock rather, to actually get a little bit of that damage onto the Scout units.
Oh, he passed.
You can also play a
I
parlay
th-
actually if you wanted to save it, but he will give up the Mentor to go for the chump block, and that is going to be spawning that one. So what do you think, Mr. Panda? Was that a right call?
I mean, it was okay. I mean, there's no reason to stay with your mentor right there,
Yeah.
and it's just going to static shock both of these badgers. I think he's whittling them down so that the keg can do damage. Yeah, the keg did
Yeah,
damage.
yeah, the keg is used immediately onto that spell. So I do like what KrispyBalut actually did, doing a little
Oh,
better than what we suggested, because the Static
mhm.
Shock would do a little extra damage onto the Ranger, really maximizing that value. And now they can't really go for the attack without getting destroyed by the chump blockers here for KrispyBalut. And he is in a good spot because he draws his heads, keeping it in hand, the safest way to go about things, and potentially look
Yeah.
for a few more spells here and there at low cost and as much value as much as possible. Chump up right now, spawning 2 of those burst spells in hand. It doesn't even matter if the mushrooms do get drawn or not. It's just for the S to get a little more value.
Yeah. So I think what Crispy Balut's deck is, it's like it's stalling for.
Oh,
Oh,
Crispy
oh
Bullet,
no.
where we at? Desktop.
You can't alt up, bro.
Oh no, it's dangerous. It's dangerous. I feel they should only be doing screen share instead of desktop capture. So we'll be
Oh,
talking with our admins on that one, and
yeah, it has to be game share only.
yeah, because it's a
So,
little
but
dangerous.
back to me explaining the deck.
Yes,
The
sir.
deck is
Yes, sir.
basically the deck is basically this is funny, dude. I mean, the deck is basically stalling for time. He's just basically putting up these followers, or
Ooh,
what you call
rally
it.
though.
Oh, dude,
Okay.
fast. That's gonna hurt. If he doesn't block with these, it's gonna hurt him really, really bad because that's like 11 damage on the board.
Oh, it's
And the beam, yeah,
right.
yeah,
That
you gotta
thermogenic
clear one
beam.
of them.
Get rid of one of those bears, and this will just basically say to Shiro-chan, sure, attack me, go. Even though you got that barrier on, maybe I'll just let it through. But no, he's gonna put that deck in the way just to save him a
Yeah.
little more. Seems like for Mr. KrispyBalut, those are very, very expendable units. And well, with a Zap actually in hand also, that's going to be more mana for a lot of spells coming from Mr. KrispyBalut. I feel like in terms of what we see right now, the hand advantage here for KrispyBalut is really working out in his favor because his win condition has already been drawn. What a top deck there, and a little more chump blockers to really help
Yeah.
out with the chump bot getting drawn yet again. So Shiro-chan, what's the plan here, man? He does have that VR still within his deck somewhere. Grizzly Ranger again gonna be into play, and I love this parlay to just get the proc immediately, bring out the Badger Bear, screw the Ranger,
Yeah.
and look for Shiro-chan into action.
Yeah, because the scout mechanic is really annoying. Like for a card that's 4-1 and it can attack again, and if you don't deal with it immediately, that's just gonna keep getting bigger and bigger. Okay, so the barrier, it's gonna protect from the
Yeah,
parlay.
that's a very expensive barrier, man. That's a repose being
Yeah,
dropped, and he can actually go for the
I guess
static
it's
shock, I
static.
believe. Yeah,
Yeah, the static
he can
shock.
go for it, and I like this right now. It's just so much value being taken by Crispy a lot. Trying to realize, oh, maybe I can go for the Badger Bear again because that is such a strong 4P in the first place in terms of that power. And there you go again, another proc. Thermogenic beam, even drawn. That's ridiculous. Honestly, Crispy Balut looking so good and in control.
Yeah.
He can't go for the beam to get rid of that one Badger Bear with 1 HP to really just maximize his mana efficiency.
Yeah, I'm liking his deck by the second. Oh, the Twisted Fate as well. He's just stalling. He's just protecting his Nexus, which is the optimal play here. There's no need to put S down
No,
as
of course.
people are going to be. I think Twisted would be nice. or
Yeah.
probably okay.
Zap is good
Spray.
too because you do get lower mana back, and well, it's a rummage. That's a pretty valuable tool also. So he can go for the rummage on the mushroom clouds if he doesn't want to use that. Oh, Daring
Yeah.
Poro. Okay.
Oh, the
That's
cutest thing.
it's a Poro card. That's surprising, honestly. She from Shiro-chan. I guess it's just an elusive chump
It's
block, but
elusive. Yeah.
honestly, it feels like it's a little bit of a waste, honestly, of a deck slot. But it is what it is. KrispyBalut looking to decide what's gonna be the plan. As we said, can go for the rummage onto the mushroom clouds, and that is exactly what he's gonna do. Get a few more valuable cards, and wow, get excited! It's now drawn again. He might not want to discard any of these cards, so especially with the S and the TF in hand. Maybe that salvage
Yeah.
he can actually throw on away if he doesn't want to do the draw mechanic. But Zap now gonna go for the attack. And honestly, for
Oh, he's
Shiro,
not gonna.
he's not gonna block
block.
with the
Okay.
Poro. Interesting. So for Shiro, I really can't tell what his plan is besides that he is holding on to get the Vi. There you go. I was literally just gonna say it. If the Vi gets dropped,
He's
I was
literally,
like, okay, so
waiting for it as well.
so Mr.
I'm
Panda,
like,
explain to me what Vi does.
Vi, when you it has a challenger mechanic, as I explained before. I can't remember what she actually. Wait, let me
There you
just
go. Just Google that
Yeah.
thing. But he does. He
Google
also has
the-
the toughness, which is pretty ridiculous, making
the
her a lot
toughness.
more tanky than usual, mitigating 1 damage per source. It's so ridiculous how strong tough is, honestly. And now it's gonna be on 2 HP, so it's effectively 3. Get excited, might be able to get that takedown rage in a little bit. But for now, Shiro-chan gonna get the opportunity to go for the attack. And I've seen Videx who go for this instant attack immediately have the potential to go for a one-hit KO. Now, the level up that requires a strike to do more damage. And Unyielding Spirit!
Unyielding
What
Spirit.
a card!
That's the most
Surprising!
annoying card.
Oh no. There is
So
no answer
since-
that time for KrispyBalut.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, since that card is been played, and if Vi strikes anything, even an opponent, she's gonna get leveled up, and when she's leveled up, she's gonna be more annoying.
Even
Like,
stronger.
I mean, even while attacking, it's gonna deal 5 damage to the Nexus instantly. So, KrispyBalut's gonna have to block properly here. Like, I mean, Vi's not gonna die because Unyielding Spirit. Yeah, there we go.
Go for the level up. You just get the strike of the 10 or more. And now,
Yep.
when it is leveled up, you do 5 additional to the Nexus. It really is just a wrecking ball right now. And for KrispyBalut, he has to look at his win conditions in hand. He has to look at that Ezreal and see if he can actually get that lethal. He is going to go for the chump bot first to use a little more of that mana. Can actually drop that salvage. And how many is that on the Ez? Is that 7 already? Oh, it's a Twisted Fate.
7.
Getting dropped. Will get a lower mana. Gets a draw on as well. And I like the blue card use because this is basically all about him trying to play into the future. There is no point, honestly, to go for the attack on the Vi because of that Unyielding Spirit. But it
Yeah.
seems like he's getting a lot of draw cards. He needs something a little different. He might need something a little different into this one. Oh, that's a good one. Gotcha.
And since Unyielding Spirit's right there, there's nothing to deal with the Vi right now. I mean, if he had the deny mechanic, but it's not gonna happen.
It's
though.
not Ionia. And yeah, for the Vi, it was just really Shiro-chan
Yeah.
buying some time. As soon as he drew the Vi, he wanted to up that power as much as it could. It really is just a ticking time bomb, truly, that Vi, and especially when it is leveled up to its maximum. Now here we go with a little more of that draw distance. Ezreal gonna get a drawn again. And is it finally time to drop that one down? No, it's onto the elusive Poro we go with that parlay. Seemed like Shiro-chan was just basically giving KrispyBalut a gimme there, and that's another spell casted by the Ezreal deck. Ooh, Cintria though.
Oh, man,
This is looking
yeah.
really scary. Can KrispyBalut actually do anything by this point? He does have that Ezreal level up ready to go, but he doesn't really have too much mana in hand. He can go for a few burst spells later on if need be, but honestly, this is looking really dicey. Can the Ezreal actually go for lethal range here, Mr. Panda? I don't think so.
No, he can't. He can't just yet. To be honest,
Even with
it's
the
not
level 2.
enough. Yeah, even
It's-
with the level 2 is, he's gonna need like 2 more turns or at least the next turn.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
gonna have to go for a drop though. I think the best plan right now for him is to drop that Ezreal and then look to find a low value here and there. Maybe get
yeah.
excited to get tossed on, but he's gonna go for the gotcha instead. Still wants to put a fight, but honestly, with the Vi at 10 and then going for the extra damage onto the Nexus, well, I wouldn't really want to be being seeing combat anytime soon. But when he does drop the Ezreal, the one caveat is the Vi can just yoink him off the bench and go for the fight there.
Yeah. I mean, right now, Shiro-chan could potentially win the next turn if if I mean he has any mechanics that can actually maybe add more damage for Vi, but then again, I don't think this deck type has an overwhelm mechanic, you know. Only Noxus has an overwhelm
Yeah,
mechanic,
it's
so
not gonna happen. And even if he
it's not
drops the
gonna happen.
Ezreal level 2, he's not gonna be able to block anything but that
Yeah, it's
Sentry
not.
with the
It's not.
TF or the S because of the upcoming Fearsome from the Sentry at the Bold. And I guess it's gonna be looking to sacrifice a little more potency. We'll go for the kill onto the 6P, prevent that Fearsome mechanic from proccing in the first place. Might be able to allow him to live to fight another day. But for Shiro-chan, with the warships in hand also, it's just looking really, really dicey. Now, it is going to be the Twisted Fate Rage Drawn Vanguard Bannerman. And does it get the Allegiance bonus? Yes, it does. What a lucky,
Because
lucky situation there for Shiro-chan.
so as things are right now, he's KrispyBalut's gonna have to like deal with the board because things are getting out of hand, and if he doesn't deal with the board, things are gonna get dicey.
Absolutely.
Salvage, right?
Salvage. Get a little bit more of a draw and is actually going to help out. Mystic Shot now going to get drawn on over. And how far is really that Twisted Fate into leveling it up? It seems like though it's not going to make it. He has to go for the block. He has to go for a drop because it is just like how much damage on the other side. 15, 18, 21. Even if the Vi gets blocked, that is still 10 damage coming your way plus
Yeah, still
5.
good damage.
So it's just like 1 HP there and a dream for KrispyBalut. Is he actually calculating that it will be enough with Shiro-chan having 2 more cards in hand?
Yeah, for sure, Vi's gonna drag Twisted Faith. Okay, there, he's upgraded right now.
Level up for the TF. Even though it's gonna die, I do believe he still has a TF in hand also.
Yeah, he does
And
have a
yeah,
hand.
and he will be able to potentially get a pretty good combo into the next turn. But as we said, the question is, will it be survival here? Because that's a Grizzled Ranger parlay right now. Gonna get the drop on. And Shiro-chan will actually get the blue card as well at the same time.
Yep, and there we go. It's gonna get more mana. Parlay.
A
Oh,
TF
another
again,
Twisted Fate. Look, it's
another
another card.
TF. I mean, sure, you can be secure with it. I don't think it's really gonna help with the spell that he has. If I remember correctly, that's the Fleeting Draw. Basically, that's what it does. Mage Seeker. Okay,
Wow.
on the side of Shiro. A little bit of RNG actually when you play that card because you will get sometimes a really good spell out of nowhere, but
Yeah.
usually just like it's okay. It's a 1-1. It has a little bit of value there. And what's the plan right now? So it seems like for KrispyBalut, he's just trying to proc the Twisted Fate as much as possible, casting those spells. And here comes the red card, actually. Looking to get a toss on. If I remember correctly, that should get
It's
some
like more
damage on the other side. Everyone getting blown up. The Mage Seeker will get turned into dust. But unfortunately, I feel like he was looking for the stun, right? With the gold card instead. And unfortunately did not get it.
Wow.
Okay.
Why do you hesitate? I think Shiro could just attack, potentially end this. Potentially.
Yeah,
And
what do
then
you think about the level 2 mechanic on Twisted Fate, man? It's just so RNG sometimes. It's like you get blue,
I'm
you get yellow, you get red. What's the plan here?
I think the yellow would be the best one to have, but
Yeah, of course.
fortunately he's not getting it.
That's just
Because
doesn't
you
happen.
gotta stun that vibe, brother.
Is it time for the Mystic Shot and just pray to the gods that you actually get that stun?
Yeah.
RNG right now.
RNG.
It really
I'm
is a twist of
Yeah.
fate here for KrispyBalut. And honestly,
Surprised he pull Twisted Fate, I'm sorry.
yes, he
He
can
didn't
go for
pull
the
it.
defense. He can actually put it down, but he might be able to secure. Oh, the
Oh,
gold!
the yellow dice!
He
I
gets
called
it.
it!
He got it.
It's
Eventually.
yellow.
I know you cycle through it. If I remember correctly, you can cycle through it, but basically, what a clutch time there. Getting through the blue and the red, eventually getting to the yellow card at the end.
Yeah.
And this is so ridiculous how close that could have been for Shiro-chan to actually take the win. KrispyBalut right now, it seems like his call is to drop the Ezreal and immediately get that level 2. So what's the plan here, Panda? With that Nexus Strike, will it be the play? Blue card, though, gonna get dropped to get lower mana as well. And yeah, the cycles on the TF going yet again.
Well, the play here is to just keep spamming those spells. Oh, make it rain. That's actually also good as well. I mean, just deal damage to the Nexus. So I think he's going for the get excited directly to the Nexus.
Yeah,
And then the
look,
Mystic Shot.
might be the true shot
no,
barrage,
two shot
though.
barrage.
It's fine. It's a 3-2-1 that is
Yeah.
gonna kill the Twisted Fate, unfortunately. So there isn't gonna be that proc, and he does have TFs in hand. But as we said
Yeah.
before, the problem here is well, you do need to get that Twisted Fate. You want to get those card spells to proc and look for value. And honestly, KrispyBalut can just take it and look to reinitialize after the fact of the matter. But what a crate there, honestly, from the Mage Seeker whatever it's called, the 1-1
The
earlier
Mage-
on.
The 1-1, yeah.
Yeah, it's just getting true shot right now at this point in time. Honestly, pretty clutch and forcing KrispyBalut in such a bad state.
Yeah, because this is gonna force a card. I think the get excited should go directly to the Nexus. Probably. I mean, discard the salvage.
That's
The,
true.
the
That's true.
Ezreal- or the okay. One of the Twisted Fate cards. That's
Hey,
fine.
it's time to just
Correct.
go for it. He's gonna slam on down,
Yeah,
throw
he
those
has to do it.
spells as much
Because
as
he's gonna
possible.
lose. Okay.
And
Stun.
he does.
Yeah,
He
but
get-
that's not gonna do anything, to be honest.
Yeah,
Even with the stun.
I feel like I was a little too desperate. He could have cycled to the yellow card in the next turn, and and then get the stun on the vibe. But we'll see how this is gonna unfold. Red card right now will take care of the Bright Steel Protector. Make it rain, raining on Dan, cleaning up the warships. No, it's not gonna happen. But here comes the Ezreal, getting every single shot, and
Yeah,
victory
it was
will go to
lethal.
KrispyBalut. He finds it
lethal.
out. He gets
Okay.
the proper configuration, and
Yeah.
lethal is taken. KrispyBalut with a sliver of
was
hope,
wrong.
able to get
Sorry.
it done. The math checks out, Mr. Panda. The math checks out.
Yeah. His math checked out. Dude, I was calculating, like, is this gonna be exactly lethal? And then he actually got it, dude.
It was so close, man. It was
It was
absolutely close. And that was really, really hyped there between KrispyBalut as well as Shiro-chan. What a game. What a close one. And what the... Wow, just what a risk being taken there by KrispyBalut, but a very well calculated one. He was trying to decide. We were trying to
Not
decide.
RNG.
Not RNG, dude. So, Dodge, can you just quickly get us through? This Twisted Fate, it's a set pattern, right? You always go through that same pattern over and over again?
No, I don't think.
Like, what's the call there, Dodge this?
To put
Yeah, I know,
Going to the
I know it's based on a sequence. You get the blue, you get the red, and then you get the yellow. So eventually was able to cycle to it, which is pretty
Yeah.
impressive, honestly. And it was very, very close in many, many regards. But for KrispyBalut, instead of basically letting it die and dropping it down and looking to play the next turn, he felt like he got that lethal there. He felt like his opponent really didn't have that value in hand. And since he dropped that true shot barrage anyway, then he's not really gonna have too much mana to do anything big. So eventually he used the Oracle's Eye, able to get the countdown on, and he was able to get lethal, which is honestly impressive. As we said though, the Ezreal stays in hand till it's level 2, and then you take the win there.
Yeah, I honestly I thought he would be like 3 or 2 off, and then his math checked out. It was exactly 15 damage. Yeah, because when I saw the barrage, I'm like, oh, okay, this could either proc a yellow or a red. If he gets either one of those two, which is very profitable, and he got the red, which was the best one. It was exactly what he needed, to be honest.
You just need the stun.
Ah.
He got the blue already. He like Mr. Panda,
Yeah,
he got
he
the
got
blue
the blue.
already earlier on, so he was gonna get the red anyway. He got the yellow also because of how it cycled, and also the Ansville there for KrispyBalut, showing on up with these late game decks. If you notice, he I mean, the Endure Spiders, you can go for the late, but you'd have a little bit of lethality early, especially with the Elise. But on the other hand, well, this is an Ezreal deck. You do want to have that spell count ready to go, and with the Twisted Fate, getting every single skill up, especially every single time you do basically something, you get a
Yeah, it's
Destiny card in
something.
hand. Yeah, just play every time you play a card. So for the first three cards you play, you get one Destiny card each. It's just ridiculous. So you're double playing every single time. You're double playing into those first three, and eventually that is just enough for KrispyBaluts to take the victory. So impressive,
Yeah.
impressive stuff. Good, a lot of feedback as well. A lot of help from our loving admins into some of the things here in the cast. And well, that's another game right now being done here in the Legends of Runeterra Philippines Newbie Tourney. What do you think about that series, Mr. Panda? What do you think
Was good.
overall?
Even though there was RNG involved. Oh, we're going back to it again. But yeah, I think the first game, it was well played out by KrispyBalut. He got the board, got the control, even laid out the who endured to finish the game. It was very good. For Shiro, I think maybe the deck choices. Uh, it's hard to tell right now what is the best things to run, but definitely it would be the control types. If you're gonna go for tourneys like this, control types would be the best to run. But unfortunately, things just didn't pan out for Ishiro's run, and
Yeah.
KrispyBalut just played around everything and was really prepared for this.
Yeah,
Mm.
and we'll just be quickly setting up for our third round, guys. And thank you for Panda hopping on in. We'll see him just a little more for this next match also. But we'll be back, guys. This is the Legend of Runeterra Philippines Newbie Tourney, sponsored by Balify.
Awesome.